why people upsize, the pitfalls and the things that you need to ask yourself before you actually just upgrade for larger square footage, because there are things that you want to make sure that you're thinking about and that you know before that actually happens. Hey everybody, it's Brennen and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about something that is happening a lot in my life and with my clients, and that's about moving up to a bigger house. In the real estate industry, we call that upsizing. And what that means is maybe your family's growing, maybe you're working from home more, but you need a little more space. So today we're gonna talk about the pitfalls and the things that you need to ask yourself before you actually just upgrade for larger square footage, because there are things that you wanna make sure that you're thinking about and that you know before that actually happens. So stay tuned, because today I'm gonna give you a list of questions that you need to ask yourself before you actually move into that larger house, so that you're not just trading the size of your house for something bigger, but you're trading a lifestyle for something that you really are going to enjoy. First, let's talk about why people upgrade. Like I mentioned before, maybe you're growing your family, maybe you are working from home more, but you want more square footage, you want more space. And we need to think about why you want this first, because that's going to guide a lot of your decisions along the way. Do you need more bedrooms? That's one thing you might need. Do you want a dedicated office space? That could be another thing you need. Or maybe you're craving just a larger yard or more outdoor space for you and the people you live with. Or maybe it's about the layout. Is your current layout in your home just not working for you the way that your family has grown, or maybe the way you live your life now? No home is ever going to be perfect, but maybe it's just not working at this point. These are all valid. You want to know the why about why you're leaving your current house and moving to a different one, so that you can really know and understand exactly what is driving and motivating you to get into that new house, because it's truly going to be a long process and it's going to take a lot of effort. So you really want to keep your goals in mind and make sure that it's not only making your life better, but making your life easier. Now we have to start talking a little bit about the regrets of why people upsize. So sometimes people do have regrets about why they're upsizing, and we're going to go through 5 different regrets today to talk about what those are. The first regret that I see people make is focusing on size over flow in their home. And what do I mean by that? You need to ask yourself questions like, is there enough space between the primary bedroom and the other bedrooms that you will be able to have some escape, some silence between those 2 bedrooms? Is there enough space for you to work in peace if you're working at home and that's the main reason for your move? And is the kitchen open to the other living space, or is it completely cut off? You don't want to just focus on the size of the home and not focus on the functionality. So you really need to focus on the flow. What are you looking for? What's most important to you? Some people don't want a kitchen that's open to the rest of the living space because they don't want everyone to see their mess in the kitchen. But other people who entertain a lot might want that a lot. So you really need to focus on the size over the flow. That's the first regret that I see people make. Now let's talk about regret number 2, which is underestimating the maintenance. So with a bigger home, of course, comes more cleaning, more yard work if you have a yard, more things to do around the house, more things to put away. So you need to think about that maintenance that you're going to be going through as a larger homeowner, because that's going to be something that could take up all of your weekends, and you don't want to ignore that as you're going into this new space. So think about that maintenance. The third regret that I see people make is ignoring those lifestyle trade-offs. So oftentimes when you're moving to a bigger home, yeah, you have to move further out of an urban center or city to get more space. So you do want to think about some of those trade-offs. You want to think about, how much time are you going to be spending in the car? Are you going to have fewer conveniences right outside your doorstep? And what's your commute going to be like? Whether that's to work, to daycare, to school, what is that commute? So don't ignore those lifestyle trade-offs. I always tell people, when you're looking for a house, go spend a day as if you live in that house. And I don't mean going into the house. I mean actually just leaving that house and seeing, how long does it take to get to the grocery store? How long does it take to get to work? And if you can do it on a weekday, that's even better, because you'll get a real life picture of what it's like to actually live in that house and the lifestyle that you'll have. Fourth thing that I see people forget is the cost of furnishing a new and larger house. So you really do want to think about moving into that home. Yes, you'll have your current furniture, but if you're moving from a 1 or 2 bedroom to a 5 bedroom, you're going to need money to furnish all of those rooms. And with more square footage comes more items to furnish. So you're most likely going to have a basement now, or maybe you'll have those extra bedrooms. So think about what it will cost to furnish that. Not only that, but you may want to think about also like window coverings. Are there going to be window coverings there when you get there? Is that going to cost you even more to furnish that in a way that you like, or decorate it in a way that you like? So think about those costs as well. Fifth, but definitely not least, is overstretching your budget. This is one I see all the time. You don't want to become someone who is house poor. And so you need to think about, with a bigger home, obviously you have more costs in terms of utilities. So you need to think about heating, cooling, higher property taxes. We already talked about that, higher maintenance, but you also have different insurance costs for a larger home. So you need to think about some of these budget items that are maybe not built into your monthly budget in terms of your mortgage. You do have principal, insurance, taxes, but you need to think about what are those other costs, and you don't want to overstretch that budget as you go into that bigger home. So yes, more square footage is great, but you have to think about what you're budgeting for. As I promised, here are some of those questions that you need to ask yourself before you upsize. So I'm going to give you 5 really important questions to ask before you upsize. 1, am I buying space that I'll actually use? Want to have a purpose for every room and really understand that goes back to your why. Why am I doing this? And are there spaces here that I'll actually use based on what I'm needing? Number 2, is the layout aligned with how I'm living or want to live, or is it just impressive on paper? So you want to think about that layout. Is that actually how you want to live? Do you want all open space? Do you want all of the bedrooms next to each other, or do you want them separated, some in the basement, some on the top floor? Think about how you want to live or how you're currently living, and is it aligned with that? Number 3, can I comfortably maintain this home both physically and financially? So if there's a bunch of yard work or a garden, are you physically able to maintain that? Do you want to? Do you want to pay someone to do that? Are you financially able to heat the home? The winter bills are going to be higher in a bigger home. Are you financially able to pay that higher property tax? So think of some of those physical and financial attributes that you really need to consider as you go into this new home. Number 4, will this location still work for me 2 or 5 years from now? This is a really important question to consider, and I talk about this with all of my clients. You need to invest in the home for the long run. It's not a stock market investment where you could sell it within months or years. You want to think about the 5 to 10 year horizon. So in 5 years, in 10 years, can you still see yourself in this location with these conveniences or lack of conveniences, with this amount of yard work, with family that you're growing if you are growing? If you go back to work in the office, will this still work for you? So in 5 to 10 years, can you still see yourself in this location? That's a really important one. And then last but not least, number 5, what lifestyle am I gaining or giving up by moving here? What are you gaining in terms of space and the lifestyle you'll have? Maybe you'll host more people, maybe you'll have a yard for the dog, but what are you also giving up? Are you giving up the ability to walk around to your favorite shop or restaurant or grocery store? And think about those specifically. You may want to create a pro and con list, or something that you're giving up versus something that you're gaining, so you know exactly what's happening as you're moving into that bigger space. Now we're going to talk a little bit about shopping smart when you're upsized. You've decided to make the move. The number 1 thing that I recommend you do is prioritize your top 3 must-haves in the home. What features, what amount of space, what type of lifestyle are on your top 3 list that are going to really enhance your move and make it worthwhile to move to this bigger home? Number 2, think long term. I want you to think about the decision not only as it applies to your life today, but how does it apply in 5, 10, 15 years? Will your kids be teenagers? Will you be working from home still at this point? Or will you be going into an office? And if you're getting older, is this a good place for you to age? What are the long-term attributes of the home that could make a difference? And think about those, not just about today. Third, don't skip the inspection, even in a competitive market. We talk about this all the time. You should always have an inspection on your home, whether the seller provided it or you do it yourself. This is a really important one. And number 4, be strategic with your offer as you're thinking about upsizing. Sometimes if a home has been sitting on the market for a while, the seller could be ready to make a deal. Other times, maybe a flexible closing date or stronger earnest money can make your offer more appealing. So still go into this with a strategic mindset about what's going to get you the home. When upsizing is done right, it could be life-changing. It can really help you, give you the space to breathe, make sure that you can grow, entertain, or just rest in place better. Upsizing really can make a big difference. You just want to think about it strategically and make sure that you're doing it the right way so that it's giving you a benefit not just now, but also in the future. I work with clients every day who are navigating the shift either from a smaller home to a larger home or from one city to another. So if you want to set up that consultation, just email or text me. It's completely free. We'll talk through your specific goals and what you're thinking about as you decide to upsize your home or move to a different home. Drop a comment below if you have already upsized and something maybe I missed in this video that you think people should be thinking about as they move from one home to another. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm Brennen Clouse. I'm your Seattle area realtor, and I hope you found this video super useful and insightful for your next move.